Let's talk about subscription services and the future of gaming. Now, if I was to say to you, Starfield is going to be a subscription service, people would go absolutely ape. It's like RedFall having an always online option. That was a battle that was lost 20 years ago. I've got no idea why Arcane decided to do it again, because it was unpopular when it was first introduced. It's still unpopular today, and it was always going to be a bad idea. So anyhow, we got these idiots coming in with these old ideas that have already failed, trying to rework them. The problem is, if you look at GamePass and the fact that you can subscribe to a game or to a service and play any game you like, that's a good idea. But you get a DLC for a game, you're going to buy the DLC. So why are you subscribing to a system? Why not just buy the game and then the DLC? Because I mean, let's face it, you always feel, if you're playing on Game Pass, you always feel like if you subscribe to Game Pass, you'll never have the DLC, because why would you buy the game if you're on Game Pass, and if you don't buy the game, there's no point in getting the DLC. You see, it's a catch-22. So they haven't got that right. They've got the fact that Game Pass have a long way from getting it right. But they're on the right road, they're just heading in the wrong direction. Now, if you look at, say, other systems like Steam, now people kick off if they thought they had to rent their favourite games instead of own them. And then they go and buy them on Steam. Now, if you look at Halflife 2, when it was first released by Valve, it required Steam. There was a massive kickback from that, massive. People hated the fact that you needed to use Steam. Steam DRM this and Steam Online, always connected. This is when the battle was lost for online, always online. So, people objected. But today they don't mind. Most people buy their games on Steam. It's not an issue. Epic do the same thing. It's not an issue. People got used to it. They ironed out the issues completely, and now they've got a system everybody likes. So if you've got the rent system and you look at the Steam and you think, well, we don't own those games. If we decide to leave Steam, we couldn't take our collection with us. It stays on Steam. We don't own that. We don't have any right to say we're going to keep playing the games after we leave Steam. We lose access to it. So we're already renting, as you might say, in a way, well, with one-off payments in this case. A one-off payment that you can play the game forever. But it's not an owned digital copy. Now, I think it was the Amazon boss says, one day you'll own nothing and be happy. And I think he might be right. I think most people will be happy that they can pay £8 or £9 a month to play any game they like and not have to worry about anything else. Getting access to the latest games. I mean, most people can afford that. So if you think about, say, new releases, £10 you can play it. Not 50, not 60 or 70, £10 you can play it. But like I said, when the DLCs come out, that's when you have a problem with Game Pass. But when they solve that problem, then yeah. So what happens if they say, okay, if you play this game for X amount of hours, you don't have to buy it. It'll become available for free on your account on, say, Game Pass. Even if you don't pay for Game Pass, it'll be there. And if that game is played for X amount of hours, then you can start buying the DLCs for it, because you will effectively own that game from a Game Pass perspective, like Steam. What if they took that kind of approach in Game Pass? So suddenly the games you played the most unlocks the ability to buy these DLCs anytime you liked. Or just suppose if you decided, as a Game Pass member, you wanted to buy the game by contributing a little bit extra, and maybe say for an extra £10 you could get the option to buy the DLCs with the game, and it'd unlock the game early for you at a discount, and you could keep on playing it if you were a Game Pass member. Anyhow, there's all of these ideas. Nobody's truly figured it out yet. But when they do, you'll have a situation where most gamers will want it. Most gamers will be interested in this. They won't be crying foul or kicking off. They will want it. So there won't be any comeback. Of course, between now and then, there's probably going to be lots of mistakes and people kicking off, like RedFall's suffering from now with its always online. There'll be lots of mistakes. Right, so, but it'll be like Steam. Eventually, they will get it right, and it will come full circle again. And you'll end up in a situation where you've seen how it started really badly, and you see how it's improved, and then suddenly you think, okay. Trouble with that approach is when you start badly, you create a lot of enemies, and it takes a long time to win those enemies over. Steam had a lot of enemies for about 10 years after the Half-Life issue. It took a long time for people to start trusting Steam. They were still buying discs, rather than deal with Steam. Now, You try getting a game disc from, I mean, there's no stores in my hometown that sell PC games anymore. So it's either buying on Steam or you don't get it. The only problem I've got right now is, though, there's an awful lot of games out there released on company websites which aren't on the platforms I'm on. So they come and go. I never see them. Someone mentions it once and then they disappear. I never hear from them again. They're not in my universe, you might say. And I think what we need to do is need to drag these games into a central location so we can see everything that's available, not just the ones that are on a particular platform, like Steam or GamePass, but so everybody can see it. Maybe uniting all these things on maybe a single page or YouTube channel so people can say, yeah, today on GamePass, today on Steam, today on Epic, and then you can see what's coming up. But the system isn't in place, like I said. Nobody's actually got any ideas for making it work. So it's a long way off. But I do think the subscription service is the future of gaming. I think people won't mind because if you look at it, if you were to buy Skyrim for 50 quid, you could rent, games for 5 months for that on Game Pass and play any game you like. Not just Skyrim, but any game you like. How many games do you buy a year? I'm betting you buy more than one every 5 months. So if you buy 2 games, maybe one's 50, one's 30, that's 80 quid, that's 8 months. Maybe in that time you might have brought 3 games, maybe up to 120 now, or maybe 140. You see, you'll save money in the long run. This is why the Amazon boss thinks, one day you'll own nothing and be happy. Because it will cost you a lot less, it will save you a fortune. And as I've said, we don't own the games on Steam. If we left Steam, we would have to leave our games behind. So we're already in that area. We're already on that path. Things are already changing in that direction. We just accepted it because it's what we wanted. See you in the next one.